Bonjour everyone, welcome back to another showcase. So today I decided to do a little JDM episode, at least for the very vast majority, and thought I'd show off some of my favorite JDM mainlines that I have in the collection. So we're going to be looking at the usual suspects, a few Mazdas, few Toyotas, a bunch of Nissan, with a couple of extras thrown in at the end there. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start showing you what I'd like to share with you today. We'll start off with some Hot Wheels. Why not start with some good old Mazda, some rotaries. So basically, first two I'm going to show off, because I'm going to show them off as a pair, are a pair of RX-7s that I really like and that I was happy to pick up. They were part of the same 2018 license, 2019 release dates, and it would be these two. So you have the first and last gen RX-7, so the SA22 or FB, and the FD3S RX-7s, both in orange, both from different collections, this one being from Speed Blur, as you can see, and this one from the Hot Wheels Turbo. But I mean, these two go so well together. I mean, literally, they're, I'd see a Then and Now series with these two cars. I know there was a Then and Now with these two castings, but they were in blue a couple of years back there, but there's an orange version, kind of like, I guess, with the Camaros from last year, where they did a Then and Now with the split bumper and the 2012, I believe. One time in orange and a recolor in blue. So, hey, there we go, really cool little duo there, and I love rotaries, so, tampos are not very present if we're talking about the actual details of the car, but you got the cool Mazda speed livery on the FD. And on the SA22, you've got some really groovy retro style graphics there. So, and the aero discs work really well in white on this thing. Complements very well the rest there. So, yeah. And speaking of RX-7s and going into a variation, I actually wanted to show a few of my short cards, including one of my favorites, this one here. So, color variation of the orange one here, in blue. Now this one looks better than the orange, not because I by far prefer blue cars versus orange cars, but these gold OH5s are awesome. The Mazda Speed pops way more. I find the Mazda Speed on the side there pops way more in white on a dark metallic blue than in kind of like silver gray on a gloss orange. Again, same lack of tampos, which honestly not a really big deal, because I do have the mainline version of the RX-7. There was a Super a couple years back, which does have the full front and rear tampos. So really looking forward also to getting the Falcon liveried version of this. Hopefully I find that eventually. And speaking of Falcon, let's segue into some Toyotas and start off with probably my favorite mainline cast release of the last 3 years for all Toyotas combined. The revised, reviewed, and quite awesome 86 casting. Really, really nice. Proportions are so much better than the original one. Love the fact that you got the tiny, tiny wheels, which is really cool, because a lot of these, when they're modified and slammed and whatnot, I mean, you're talking about low offset 14s on there, right? So it's not going to be necessarily 15s look fine, but anything over 15 just looks kind of gaudy. So yeah, so I've got the two variations here. I do not have the Zamac, this one specifically. This one, as you can see, the bubble's slightly cracked, so I'll have to let that one breathe eventually. But so classic Falcon colors in blue and teal, has the tiny little OH5s in chrome, and the black and white version has the same ones, but black spokes, chrome lip. So I love the livery on these. Very cool. Falcon livery to me, you know, brings me back to the early mid 2000s, Formula D and whatnot. There was a really cool G35 coupe that had this specific livery right here. So definitely something that I do enjoy. We're talking about Falcon livery. I have a few representatives of Falcon livery vehicles. So yeah, this might seem kind of repetitive, but have I mentioned I really do love this new A86 casting. So this one is close to the, you know, especially the white one here, the infamous Initial D famous Panda livery, but not quite, since we're not talking about it continuing on the bumpers. Love the tampo work on these in the rear. Very nice. Front is missing, but I mean, I have shown off a premium version on a previous JDM Hot Wheels premium showcase. So, yeah, basically the Blood Panda as much as the regular Panda I really love. Yeah, the actual 5 spokes in gold in this diameter I find look really cool and concave. And the OH5 is probably my favorite mainline wheel that Hot Wheels makes. So, I mean, these two are definite winners. Slight preference for the white one, honestly, but, you know, I won't complain. Next up, let's see. Let's fall into some Nissans because, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am an absolute Nissan fanatic. My favorite brand of car. And, you know, I have a large majority of my JDM mainline castings are Nissan. Although Mazda has a surprisingly large volume. I'm not going to show a whole lot today. I'll keep that for another edition of this eventually. And yeah, first one I'm going to show you is R32 Gtr. This would be a 2017 release, 2018 on the pegs. So yeah, out of the Nissan series of that year, I'm not sure if I have the whole series, honestly. I'd have to check on all the different vehicles that comprise it, which I did not research as usual before I started filming. So yeah, PR5s with the nice red ring to complement the Yokohama Y, as well as a little stripe on the side. Full tampo on the back. Lights GTR emblem. Skyline script just below the lip of the trunk. Fortunately none on the front, but it's pretty straightforward to add details on this, so eventually that'll happen. Just keeping it on the card for now, as I do have the alternate blue version of this already loose. So yeah, this is definitely you know, in my top 3 Nissans, probably top 3 JDM cars of all time. The R32 GTR, you know, grew up with it in Gran Turismo and watching, you know, hot version videos and the likes. So in the 90s, you know, super street, obviously, sport compact car, all that good stuff from the era, you know. And obviously, this leads me to the granddaddy of GTRs, or almost. This is one of my favorite mainlines that I own. The Skyline Ht2000 Gtx. So not a GTR, but yeah, very cool race style livery. Not quite the PMCS livery that you know, adorned these Hiace Skylines in real life in their racing versions, but you know, you've got the oil cooler on the front, casted in. With all the piping, you've got the front light covers as well. The bumper deletes front and rear. As you can see, no details if we're talking about front and rear tampos, but the livery itself is really cool. You know, good choice of wheels. Slightly blue tinted windows as well. This one does not have a roll cage. I know there's a variation with roll cage, and the black version of this that came out before is definitely something very sought after if it's with the roll cage. So cool variation to know about. This one here is from 2015. does not want to focus. There you go. Give it a little shove. 2015, so 2016 release. But my favorite generation GTR is undoubtedly the Kenmary Skyline. This is the police liveried, well, kind of mock of a Japanese police livery, although they don't have police written in regular cursive on the side normally. But yeah, this is a really nice casting. I have the first edition of this loose. This is the second version that I pick up. I did not pick up the red variation because honestly I didn't really like it. You'll notice the card's a little bit damaged there. It's been through a little bit, but I'm still keeping it on the card for now since I do have an alternate of this casting loose. I also do have the two versions from the Then and Now series from I believe 2 years back that offset the R35 Gtr, one in black and one in yellow with the black stripes on the bottom. So yeah, this one I like the red lip on the wheels. Which gives it a tuner look from the mid-2000s. The proportions of this car are really, really nice. Kind of reminiscent of pony cars, American pony cars of the 60s. This is actually the rarest GTR that was ever produced, the Kenmary. There were so few produced because of the credit crunch that happened in the gas crisis of the early to mid 70s. Obviously that led to a very short life to this generation GTR, so very sought after, and then again not that sought after because it doesn't have as much exposure. So segueing on to same theme, another car that we could do then and now with the Kenmary just before. Here's a very nice variation of the Z32 300ZX or Fairlady Z, depending where you are in the world. Very, very cool. You know, livery is literally an exact match with the same kanji characters above the police on the side there. You'll notice also the last three cars do have also the little JNC logo. If ever you're curious to know where that comes from, we'd be talking about the little red logo that's on the bottom here. You'll see that appearing on a lot of old school Japanese casting. Now, JNC is not based on the cheap knockoff, I won't say cheap, the wheel manufacturer JNC. We're talking about a forum actually that I was a member of called Japanese Nostalgic Car. Awesome forum with like a wealth of information basically. And you'll notice basically that on this GTR, let's see, is there a JNC logo? Not even, which is surprising. However, on the Z32, you'll see above the rear wheel the JNC again. So the JNC was a big time sponsor of the Japanese nostalgic car shows in California, which everybody aspired to go to, and yeah, really a staple of the tuning culture for and preservation, restoration of classic Japanese metal. So definitely cool. I don't think I haven't been active on that forum since the it's probably 10 to 12 years ago. My car wasn't actually nostalgic enough at the time. When I joined that forum, I had a 97 Mazda MX-6 with a KLZE swap, high compression 2.5 liter V6 from Japan, instead of the regular KLD low compression version we got in the North American versions, and that was also in the European versions of that car. So little 15-inch more aggressively offset BBS wheels from a FCR X7, all kind of little, lowered suspension, whatnot. It was a nice little car, nice little beater. I liked it. Yeah. Okay. Getting back to the diecast cars. think we're gonna just do a temporary switch over from Hot Wheels to Matchbox, because Matchbox more and more are getting extremely good at JDM castings, in my humble opinion at least. An example of this that actually got me into really starting to collect more Matchbox was a 2018 piece here. It's not a new casting in 2018, but it was a new casting to a certain extent. The Nissan Xterra, the first generation. It was the first version with the opening hatch, and this is from the old style moving parts from Matchbox. So very cool casting. It does have front details, well, or a little bit, at least for the lights. No light details in the rear, but nice shade of light blue. You've got the black strip on the side there, as well as detailed in. You know, obviously opening trunk. You got the infamous rack on the roof. The black chrome 6-spoke off-road wheels. And all the styling cues are cast in, so I mean, it'd be a cool car to detail eventually. I mean, the cards, it's definitely not perfect, but this one I use for displaying in the card, as I do with most of my old moving parts that were on card like this. So yeah, it's a cool casting. Has been done, redone, re-released in multitude of colors. This is the only version that I have, and it's honestly the only version that I really want. So I like the Xterra, but it's not my favorite Nissan truck. My favorite, I've already shown loose once, and it would be this here. So the Nissan D21 hardbody. In Canada, was just called the Nissan Pickup. Yeah, very cool little pickups. I really like them. These are two these are two variations that I picked up after the red one I have in loose, which was, I believe, the first version that came out. This would have been the second one, and in a kind of like aqua green teal kind of color, very metallic. Same stripe and wheels as the red version, basically. And it looks very, very early 90s, with these decorative stripe kits that were super popular in the late 80s and early 90s, dealer installed, or you had maybe the pinstripes that went across there. You've probably seen this on old cars as well. But yeah, no front and rear tampos, but again, it's an extremely easy casting to detail, in views of how everything is so squared off on that front grille. And I mean, the lights, they're typical pickup lights, with your ambers on top and your reds in the middle, your reds on the bottom. So very easy to detail. And I like the wheels on here, the kind of off-roadish 10 spokes. They look pretty good. They actually do look really good. This is a later release. Actually, it was the fourth release. There was a black release in the middle with the same livery as this. You'll notice that it's not the same stripes on one and on the other. You have the big Nissan script on the white one, and kind of like a torn up kind of design there, going from the front fender all the way onto the top of the box. Whereas you have more of like a multi-striped, slightly curved design, almost a feather-like design on the green one. So the white one also has the infamous steelies, which honestly is probably my favorite mainline wheel that Matchbox does, if we're talking about the old school style wheels. So very cool in white. I love me white Nissans, so I had to pick up this variation. I did have the black variation that came out in the truck series that was released same year as this, I believe. So this is from 2021, so it's a release from early this year. I believe late in 2021, so a 2020 release. There was a black version out of the truck series. That one I actually sold to another JDM diecast collector that really needed that variation, since I already had two variations at the time, and that I picked up a fourth. I I picked up that third one, and then I found this fourth white one, so I was already looking at 4 variations, which I found a little bit overwhelming. I decided to get rid of one of the 3. He hit me up wanting it, so there you go. Done deal. And if we're talking about, you know, falling actually in love with the Matchbox JDMs that are currently coming out, actually one of the last castings by Ryu Asada, the SVX. When I found this, it was better than any Hot Wheels cast, any JDM Hot Wheels cast at the time, literally. This is a 2019 release, so 2020 on the pegs. You know, don't get me wrong, Hot Wheels has some awesome JDM castings, right? But this is just like, it's completely stock, fairly well tempoed, Giugiaro styled body, really just an oddball of a car. And I love how the half windows actually are cut out on this. I do also have the wine red variation, which was actually based on Ryu's actual car. So I do have that version as well somewhere, but I didn't feel like digging too far to find it. How about we switch up to something a little bit different? I've been wanting to show these off for a while, and was just looking for the right video to actually right video content to do so. I have a duo of Majorette street cars. First and foremost, this little Toyota Corolla sedan. I believe this is called a Toyota Corolla Rarest in Europe and in the Middle East. It's not a version that we got here, slightly different than what we got here. But yeah, this has several variations, including really cool foreign taxi versions from like Thailand and UAE and Australia and all kinds of places, basically. So this is really like an import version of it. It is actually left-hand drive, so but yeah, lensed window, lens tail, of course, lens windows, lensed headlamps, painted tails, but full details, front and back, including a little fog lights that are done up as well. There we go. Focus in on there. You see that very clean job on the Toyota badge in that grille. The wheels don't look half bad. These double 5 spokes in chrome are, you know, they're okay wheels for a mainline. Street car is definitely the main line of Majorette. Sorry about that. I was just looking for a year, but again, as shown in the previous video, big disadvantage of the Majorette we get here, big sticker that they always put right on top of the licensing year. Just see if I could slightly unstick it to see what the licensing year was, because I know it's the same for both. It's just this leaves a sticky residue afterwards, which I really hate. Oh no, I won't try unsticking that. I won't try that. It's just not no. Okay, well, either way, very cool little car, unusual. You know, I like these little Corolla sedans. And fun fact about the Corolla sedan, they were actually racing touring car in touring car championships, namely the 94, 95, 96 generation that we got in North America here. That was raced with the 3SG Beams engine, so a 2-liter naturally aspirated individual throttle bodied high compression version, pushing out maybe 240, 250 horsepower in a stripped out car. You know, that weighed literally 900 kilos, give or take. So, yeah, really cool. Castrol liveried as well, mind you. Just like the Celica GT4 rally cars. And, yeah, really cool. You can look that up. It's kind of cool to see a Corolla race around like this, and it was actually quite successful. Second street car I'm going to show you is actually not a car. It's a long wheelbase Toyota Hiace. And this is the first Hiace that I'm able to get into the collection. Found on the pegs in a drugstore. Same time as a Corolla. And yeah, I'm really happy about this. I love these vans. I've seen a bunch of them traveling in the Caribbean. Rode in a few as a taxi passenger or minibus passenger. Yeah, this is something I really like, and I love the 10 spokes on here because it kind of looks like, you know, upgraded rims, slight modification, just to up the aesthetics instead of the steelies or really plain hubcaps that normally come on these. Again, full detail front and rear, lens front lights. These don't have opening feature, plastic wheels and base with the metal body, but nicely detailed. You know, you get 4 tampo passes, notwithstanding what type of vehicle it is. They are these are probably about 3 to 4 times more expensive than your Hot Wheels or Matchbox mainline, at least here in Canada. So you know, they are kind of expensive, but to me, $4, whereas I'd probably pay the equivalent in USD online plus $10 to $12 of shipping for one of these. I mean, if you find them, grab them. Might as well if the model is to your liking. At least that's how I think. Look at all them rows of seats in there, eh? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of seats. Pretty darn cool. Yeah, and we'll finish off by going back to some Hot Wheels. Let's see. First love, basically, you know. Good old Hondas and Acuras, eh? So we've got here a short card, speed graphics, Tane liveried, or Tyne actually, I should say, liveried custom 01 Integra GSR. Now, this is not my favorite version of the car because I do like the first yellow and white versions best because they're tampoed front and rear. Unfortunately, all the other subsequent ones, like the Boost Brigade and all those other ones, basically, they all end up having no rear and no front tampos for the most part. The most recent release does have fronts, doesn't have rears. Or is it the opposite? I can't remember. I have it somewhere. I don't feel like digging for it, so. But there you go. So you got the Wi-Fi wheels in chrome. You know, I love Tane livery. It, again, reminiscent of 20 years ago when I was really getting into car tuning and, you know, all that good stuff. This is a 2015 release, 2016 on the pegs. And I paid a pretty penny for this. This is the actual price I paid in a pharmacy. $3 Canadian. Wow. But you know what? I'd easily get my money back now. Short card, older, you know. It's worth what it's worth to whoever's willing to pay, right? As they say. So, one that's actually not a super recent release, but a very recent find during the infamous Hot Wheels drought, you know, that every collector, including me, went through. Dollar stores, the dollar store chain that we have around here called Dollarama actually started filling up the pegs with old cases from some obscure origin. Now this was, what, maybe 4 or 5 months ago I picked this up. 2018 license, 2019 release, Ryu Asada liveried Acura Nsx. Out of the Hot Wheels Exotics. And I know that they're really from very far because I've shown this, I believe, before, but you see on the back here, this is actually from Mattel Malaysia and then imported to India. And you'll notice right here, maximum retail price 120 rupees, inclusive of all taxes. So I mean, we're really talking about a case literally from India that ended up in Dollarama in Canada. And most of the Dollaramas around here were in the same situation with these kind of big stickers on the back of the cards. Nevertheless, very cool because I had the plain red variation of this with the PR5s, and now I have the red variation with the Ryu livery on the 5 spokes. So I'm really happy about that. You know, not a new acquisition or anything. If we're talking about new acquisitions, actually, this would be the newest acquired Honda to the collection. Yes, I completed my GK Swans. Discussed that I was missing the the blue Acura Nsx. So managed to pick that up. My local Toys R Us. Got a fairly fresh drop, dud case. No K4 Racer Super, but yeah, did manage to find this guy. He's the only one on the pegs. Love the color. Loving the blue on here. I love that type of grabber blue kind of hue. Nagaro blue, Miami blue. It's really a nice. I also mentioned, staying in the JDM, that I was wanting the RX3, the black RX3 with the yellow and green striping on it. Done deal. So variation number 3, if we're talking about main lines of this one. Variation number 3 with the white with blue graphics that was a super. I have the main line of that, and the original release green, dark, kind of like dark khaki green metallic, which I'd have to compare all 3 side by side, but it's either this one or that first one that are my favorites. The white one I just find a little bit bland, although it's going to be super easy to detail up. So and I do like the fact that this has a chrome base, because I do like the look of the chrome bumper and lip, and the rear chrome bumper as well. So definitely a very cool retro inspired livery with the JDM legends, Yokohama, Castrol, Hot Wheels fame, of course. You know, nothing Mazda related or rotary related, which would have been cool, but hey, let's not complain there. And let's finish off with a couple of non-JDM cars, but just, you know, to complete my little finds from G-Case, or my completion of my G-Case wants. Best color so far, I think, of this Volvo 850, or 855 wagon, actually. Designation for the wagons are always ending with a 5, whereas the sedans are always to 0, just for future knowledge. And the coupes of the previous era of this, like early 90s going back all the way to the late 70s, they would finish with a 2. So example, you had the granddaddy of this guy, the Volvo 240, which everybody knows and loves. Good old brick. You had the 240, which was a sedan, 242, which was a very limited production coupe styled by Bertone, and you had the 245, which was the wagon version. So this would actually be 855 as opposed to an 850 estate, but that's just my Volvo geekiness going. So, and last but not least, at least for me, the car of G-Case that I was looking most forward to, and pretty sure a certain Derek at Honest Diecast could agree with me on this. Best car of the case, by far. This is awesome. I was kind of wishing very hard that Hot Wheels would release a recolor of their 935, the classic Moby Dick casting, with a retro livery, because the Urban Outlaw is really cool. But I mean, I do have one. I don't have both. I don't have the second release in the alternate base and Tampo colors. You know, one was enough for me. They're too similar, and I'm not enough of a stickler on variations to actually care about getting the other one. But this, wow. The old Bilstein livery, Goodyear. I'm assuming these would not really run Goodyears in period, because I don't think this would have probably been more Michelin's being run on that, but or even Avon tires or something of the sort. Either way, I digress. This is like a perfect livery for this car. The base color is really nice deep blue, pretty darn metallic. It's got a nice swing also when you get into the details of the rear trunk, or the rear hood, should I say, or hood. Love the Goodyear stamped on that rear wing. It's cool also that the front projector lights depicted, you can see well on the artwork there, they're actually part of the base as opposed to being part of the actual cast. Same for the center grille as well. I find that's a really cool touch. And same for the rear here. This was a busy moto special. I'm pretty sure we'd be seeing two huge exposed snails on the back of this thing. Yeah, gold lace wheels, perfect choice. Yeah, this was the one I was looking at. I was happier to find this, and I would have been happier to find this than the actual K4 Racer Super. In all honesty. So yeah, that pretty much does it for today's little showcase. So you know, on to H case, I guess, for mainlines. You know, keep showing some love to JDM on alternate showcases for sure. So if you liked this little showcase, do let me know by leaving a like on the video, subscribe for my future uploads, and comment your feedback. Basically, tell me what you think. Which one was your favorite? Which ones do you not have? Which ones do you have in all these bunch of castings that we checked out? So yeah, I'll let you go on that. Wish you a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.